Hey students, it's Mr. Wagner, and I am back with another video for this next week. So last week we talked about mean, and remember we're talking about in this unit using statistics for what is typical. So we want to know what is typical. And last week we talked about the mean. So this week we are going to look at the next tool we can use, and that's called median. Median, all right? So what is a median? Well, the median kind of even sounds like the name itself, but the median is the middle number. The middle number of a data set. And you might be wondering, if we already have mean to tell us what's typical, why median? And we'll get into that. So that's what this video is going to be about. But first, let's figure out how we find the median. So the first thing you're going to do is, and this is the one where students will forget this, but you have to put the numbers in order. Because if they're not in order, you're not going to find the actual true middle. Put the numbers in order. Okay, so we're going to put the numbers in order. And then after we do that, you're going to find the middle. And there's a couple different ways you can do that, but I'm going to show you the one that most students use and find easiest. Find the middle. And here is an example. So we're going to do an example. Every time we do notes, remember, you always want to have an example to look back at. So our example here is, let's say, from the mean, we were talking about how many siblings students have. So let's say we use that same data set. So someone had 2 siblings, someone else had 5 siblings, someone else had 2, and someone had 3. And we're going to try to find out what's typical here. And first we got to put them in order. So I'm just going to rewrite it 2, 2, 3, 5. And so the most common way I see students do this or figure this out is they kind of cross them out as they go. So they say, okay, I'm going to cross one out from this side, cross one out from that side, cross one out from this side, cross one out from this side, and then wherever we find that middle, what I like to do is I like putting a line, and this will matter more in 7th grade when we start talking about box and whisker plots. We actually might still do some here at the end of 6th grade, but your middle is right here. So in this case, that middle is going to be between 2 and 3. So what number is between 2 and 3? Well, that number is 2.5. Yes, very good. So our median is 2.5. So the typical number of siblings here is 2.5. When we did the mean, we got 3. So they're both very close, and they find what's typical. Now, on to what I find is the most important part of this lesson. And that is, why would you ever use median instead of the mean? So let me get rid of this stuff here, and we're going to say why. Okay, so I want to find the typical number of pets that people have on my street. So I go around the street, and I'm going to find the typical number of pets. And this is in my neighborhood. So what I do is I go and I ask some people on my street, and I'm going to put these in order already so we can skip that first step. So I go around and I found that 3 people on my street had no pets. No one had pets. But then Mr. Bill, he has 1 dog. Miss Jenna across the street has a dog. Jaden down the street, he has 2 fish. And I actually forgot that Miss Lee has a dog. So we have 3 people that have 1 dog, Jaden with his 2 fish, but then there's this house at the end of the street where this one lady, she has 19 cats. It's crazy. She has 19 cats. And so we're going to see what happens when we find the median and the mean. And remember, we want to know what's typical here. So since we're working on the median, let's do the median first. Let's find out the median number of cats. So we're going to cross out our numbers here, looking for the middle. Cross it out, cross it out, cross it out. So we're left with these 2 ones. So remember, when you have 2 in the middle, I just put a line here. And that's our median. So what's in between 1 and 1? Well, that's 1. So our median is 1. So, and that seems about right. That in my neighborhood, there's typically 1 pet per household. And Now let's see what would have happened if we would have found the mean. Let's just see what happens here. So we add them all up. Remember, we're finding the mean now. This is not median, this is the mean. We add all these up, and then we're going to divide by how many houses there are that I surveyed, right? There's more people in my neighborhood than this, but I just surveyed some of them at random. So I add all these up, and we end up getting 1924. So we have 24. Now we have to divide by how many houses? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 houses. So 24 divided by 8 is 3. So this is our mean, remember. So if you came up to me and I said, well, on average, there's an average of 3 animals or 3 pets per house, that actually doesn't make much sense because most people don't have 3 pets. That's not typical. So in this scenario, the median did a much better job of telling us what was typical than the mean. And I'll let you think about why that is, and I'm sure you know, so I'll pause here for a second. Think about why that is. So hopefully you thought about that for just a second or two. Pause the video. But if you remember what we do with the mean, we are seeing what would happen if everyone had the same. If you added all these up, we put it in one big pile. And what happened is this woman, this crazy cat lady, she brought tons of cats and spread them out across everybody. And so she made the average go up artificially. And this is actually called an outlier. So this would be an outlier. She is not normal. She's an outlier. And she brought this mean up. And that's when you want to use the median. Now, there's other times to use the median as well, and we'll get into that next week. But for now, just know that sometimes the median does a better job of telling us what's typical than the mean. All right, so I hope this helped you out, not just finding the median, but knowing why we find it. Look forward to seeing you guys again at the end of the week. Have a good one.